And turn on.
No.
You may get an acknowledgement on your screen. Just say, yeah, you know.
Just say got it.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Good afterwards.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement. It's okay to record the meeting.
Yes, it started recording.
All right. Pat, will you, as usual, take the minutes?
Sure.
Thank you. And would someone like to open the meeting with a prayer? A devotion or something?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Dear Lord, oh, there is so much going on with our sisters and brothers in Cuba. Their life is as difficult as they've known it in the past 60 years. Lord, we ask for your guidance and wisdom in our relationship and what we can do, not in a paternalistic way, but what we can do as brothers and sisters in Christ. Lord, we just, we lift them up to you. We lift this meeting up to you. We ask for your guidance and wisdom. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome everybody to the meeting. Somehow I don't get my usual screen up on the iPad, but so I can't see everybody at once. But thank you all for being here. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Did anybody have any corrections or additions or changes or?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Let it, let the record show the minutes were approved. Pat, did you get an attendance count?
I have
Like I says, I can't see.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have eight people right now. Let me see.
Hey,
Yes, we have 8 people.
that's good. Good. Okay, Pat, do you want to give a finance report?
I'm trying to bring up the spreadsheet right now, and I will share it. Whoops, that's the end of 2020. That's second quarter. Huh. That was strange. All right, I'll just bring up.
Probably waiting for that. I knew it was there.
All right, this is what I have updated our let me share first of all. Sorry, share screen. This is the can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, this is the one I usually show you. I have that, apparently I've put it in the wrong place. I have it updated through, this is what Nancy Cox sends us at the end of the quarter. And this is through the end of second quarter. Even though it says 31 December, she puts that, but it's through the end of the second quarter. And I have a separate sheet that has more of a breakdown on it, but apparently I filed the wrong place because I'm bringing it dated the end of March. So what we have, this is our Cuba Transportation Fund. We have $1,000 in it right now, about $1,000. We still have 666 in the water treatment. That has changed over the years. We haven't used that. We have 700 and some in Cuba Leadership, 14,000 in the Cuba Partnership Fund, and we still have about 9,000, 10,000 in the Limosa. we do need to start fundraising for transportation and leadership training, but we have plenty of money here to afford to pay the cost to bring in Rayleigh up here and other things.
Okay,
I will get the form, the one you're used to, it has more details, and send that out with the minutes. Apologize, I thought it was in there.
okay.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
What is that last item, the last line?
Lamosi Fund, that is a legacy, kind of an endowment type fund that was, came in from an estate. It was either just before, about the time the partnership was started back in 2013, and council decided to allocate that to Cuba. And we drew
Oh,
from that to, for the bus, years and years ago. And we've drawn from it a little bit since then, but we've tried to keep it there in reserve. We did draw from it last year to send some money to the Cuba Partner Network for either for relief work.
mhm.
I think they're originally, Martha, I think the original amount was somewhere in the range of 22,000, something
Mhm.
like that, when it was
Wow.
first out, it was first given to the Cuba Partnership team for its use back
Right.
in about
We've used it for
2014.
good too.
Yes, it was a very nice grant, good seed
Yeah.
money. And we've just tried to keep it there as a reserve, but we do go
That's
in.
great.
Any other questions?
Okay. The next item on the agenda is Pat and Randy are going to Cuba for the business meeting. I've forgotten when that is. Is that September? Pat?
Yes, September 20
Okay.
to 28th.
Okay, and so we are asking for a motion to approve a application to the Lang Scholarship Fund to help them defray their expenses for that trip.
Ken, if I could just give some background.
Yes, good idea, Randy.
So starting in about 2015, well, Baltimore Presbytery, which has had a partnership with El Centro for maybe 25 years. Hi, Mary. Had a partnership for about 25 years. Back in we established our partnership in 2013, and Baltimore had, for a number of years, had business meetings. They would go to El Centro, meet at a central location, and there would be representatives of council that they would that Baltimore Presbytery would choose, always including the treasurer, the moderator, and their general secretary, and sometimes one or two others. They'd try to have a couple elders, not just pastors that were participating. And so they would have a business meeting just to talk about the finances of, the presbytery. And this would be a 2 to 3 day business meeting. And a couple years after we established our partnership, Baltimore asked, because at the time I was leading the partnership, asked if I wanted to come to the business meeting. So I did. And I think I went by myself the first year, and I think maybe the next year Pat went as well. And then Ken, you've been what, once or twice?
I've been at least twice, yeah.
To the business. And so we continued to hold the meetings, and then we had one in about 2017, I'm guessing, could have been 2018, in which Southern Kansas Presbytery, which has a relationship, representatives joined us, and also Mission Presbytery in Texas, which has a partnership. They joined for that meeting, which was held at Cabawan. And so those meetings continued to happen. They were really valuable, good discussions, so that we all had a better understanding of what their needs were. with their budget, that. And of course, now we have not had a meeting since, I think, 2019 because of COVID. And we've had discussions with them, but we haven't had a real meeting. And so, they've been requesting that we have those meetings again. And so at the meeting in September, they'd set up to 3 from every presbytery. Pat and I are going representing our presbytery. There are 3 from Baltimore, 3 from Southern Kansas. There's no one coming from Mission Pres. I think to a major extent, their partnership is inactive. So there'll be 8 of us at that meeting. Obviously, Pat and I will come back and report. Knowing Pat, who just writes exceedingly well and takes wonderful minutes, I am sure she will have a written report. Knowing Pat, or something. Let's put this: there'll be a written report, whether Pat does it or something. It won't be me, but there will be a written report, that will be provided from that meeting. And so it starts. We fly in on a Monday. And we'll meet all day Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe a meeting Monday night, and then we come back that Thursday morning. So the Lang Scholarship, we're not asking for, we didn't make a request for any money from the partnership, but the Lang Scholarship Fund, which has, about $400,000 to $500,000 in it that was set aside for various, trips we've used on our trips to Cuba. Pat and I each applied for $450. Trip's going to cost Pat, what, $1,400? We estimated something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. And so we asked for a third of the cost from the Lang Scholarship Fund, and that was approved. But the committee has to approve the request.
They actually granted the scholarship knowing we didn't have the approval for the committee yet, because they felt that the committee would probably approve it. We would like to dot the i's and cross the t's.
Any questions about that? Okay.
All right, do we have a motion to approve those applications?
I make a motion, we approve the applications.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I abstain.
Anybody opposed? All right, the motion passes then.
And I'll send these minutes to Cheryl.
Good, yeah. I think those 2 participants want to take 8 clerical shirts for the pastors in the Central Presbytery.
Yes, that was the entire group going down, Baltimore, Kansas, and us. Mary Ellis requested that we could ask if we could provide the shirts. So Baltimore is providing a lot of the food supplies and the snacks and things like that for the meeting, and gift bags for the pastors. So they're doing that as their contribution, and they asked if we could take on the clerical shirts as our contribution. We said sure. So it's they've already been ordered. They're sitting in my guest room ready to carry down. I think the cost came out to be about $300. Had to get them from 3 different sources because they wanted different colors and different sizes, and some places would have one color and some places have other colors. But it came out to about $300. I put there $350 just to be safe. And we have plenty of money in our partnership fund, as you saw, $17,000 to cover that. So I would present a motion that we purchase those as our contribution.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Actually,
I move to approve.
Pat made the motion, so I think Martha's
Oh.
second.
Okay, all right, very good. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes.
We did this on our own for the pastors, a number of years ago, probably around 2017, maybe 16 or 17. It was maybe even 15. It was quite a while ago. And of course, a lot of those pastors have moved on, and we've had a lot of new pastors come in. So they're requesting a second. They find that, like any pastor does, that the shirts are useful, and if nothing else, just to wear to church or to when you're visiting hospitals, visiting people. It just gives a little official notice that you really are a clergy person.
And even for the worship services, it's too hot to wear robes out there. So they,
Right.
at least in Remedios, he always wears a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of the sanctuaries are air conditioned.
No.
Conditioning, we still don't use robes half the time up here in in Florida,
Right. Yeah.
Right.
other than communion services and things like that. Okay, thank you very much. And I will send again, I'll send these minutes to Nancy Cox, along with a request for reimbursement for that.
Okay. Very good. Next, I entered on the agenda just some comments here. Does anybody want to talk about the conditions in Cuba?
I have a prayer request, especially for Milagros, who is the ruling elder leading the church at Iwara, fell and broke her kneecap about a month ago. And
Oh,
she is existing on pain medication. I think she saw a doctor, but they can't do anything because they can't do any surgery. All she can do is rest. And it is very, very, very difficult. She said I talked with her earlier this week, and she said her leg is still totally swollen, but she had a brother-in-law came and helped stay for a while, but she wants to, I don't know whether they're trying to hold church at the house. She said people from the church have been visiting her. The children came to visit. She loves working with them. She wants to get back to doing things at the church, but it's a good 15-minute walk from her home to the church. And I don't know how she could do that. I don't even know if she has a walker to get around, but just it's prayers for her and for that church. Because all we can do is send more medicines down.
mhm. Is she the lady that needs a hysterectomy?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't know who that is.
I think she may have been, she's tall and thin. I think she may be the moderator of
Was
one
it
of the presbyteries.
was that Remedios, Martha? Was she from Remedios or somewhere else?
I believe she was from there, but she's on their
Yeah.
on their
There's
board.
there's
Their board of
a
elders.
lady from Remedios named Milagra.
Yes,
And she
that's
is
what I'm
on,
thinking
yeah,
of.
okay. She is on session. She is kind
Yeah.
of tall and she's very thin.
Okay, this is Milagros Iwara, and she is not very tall and she is not very thin.
Okay.
Okay.
She's a wonderful person who just gives everything she has.
So is it possible to get a wheelchair over there?
I have no idea. Could we take a wheelchair down? I have no idea. That's a great idea.
Or we could each take a walker or something. A woman at our church, Jen Tucker, she's a PT professor at UCF. She used to do mission trips to Jamaica, and they were medical mission trips, and she used to take all kinds of stuff. Maybe I can ask her how she managed that.
If,
I will ask her if she has access to a wheelchair or to a walker.
Oh,
And
she has access to everything.
no. I would ask Milagros,
Oh,
because they do have,
Oh.
they have clinics.
mhm.
And the clinic might have, if I will ask, but if that would be helpful.
Yeah.
I think a lot of churches have wheelchairs and walkers and whatever
Yes.
in a closet somewhere. that could be donated?
I know a few years ago, Jesus from Remedios, and somebody went to Havana to pick up 4 wheelchairs for people there in Remedios. So I don't know whether they're still using those or they have them available or what, but if they're not being used, I'm sure they would loan one of them out. But they were for specific people at that time, and that's gotta have been 5 years ago or maybe more.
Is this something we could take to Mary Ellis as counsel and say they would know what the churches have? And he's nodding.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea. Boy. Yeah.
Okay, how should we go about that?
Does anybody else want to report on their partner church or?
Before we leave that, how should we go about, who should contact Mary Ellis and ask?
Okay. Oh, so sorry, I was looking at a text I received from someone that I needed to address. What exactly am I going to ask Mary Ellis?
If, well, first of all, does she know Milagros' condition at Iwara? And if she needs a walker or a wheelchair, is there one that can be provided from within the presbytery? If not, can we try to bring one down? But if they know of.
So
But
do
let
you
me
think,
get back to Milagros first and find out whether she already
Yeah.
has one. Doesn't.
right, and whether or not she's requested anything? What we don't want to do is get kind of heavy-handed and asking their presbytery to possibly provide something for someone
Yes.
at one of our churches. This gets tricky.
Yes, that's.
So,
I doubt that Milagros would ask, but but I can suggest that she do so if she doesn't
I
have
think
it.
that's a great idea. Suggest that she ask. But I mean, us getting one, I just can't imagine they don't fold up enough for us to take one.
I'm sorry?
For us to take one, I just don't know how that we could do that. I mean, could you take something that large?
Well, sure, if you were using the wheelchair, it travels with you. That's the way. Alex, can you come to Cuba on short notice?
Randy, you might have to push Pat.
Okay. Okay. Pat, we can figure this out.
I have knee problems.
Well, I could do that. I could, even though I have knee problems, I could do that, Pat. So that's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
get down if we have it, but let's what's available down there first.
Okay, and then hey, Pat, I'm in.
Okay. You get through the airport very quickly if you're in a wheelchair.
Oh,
You
hey,
get through TSA.
Pat, let's take one whether or not you need it or not then.
Yeah.
You really want to push your wheelchair all the way through Miami?
I always have a special treatment for me because I always go with a stroller. So
Yes.
I feel like a queen.
Yes.
Well, maybe if I'm pushing you, Pat, also, then if I was bringing cigars back, they wouldn't ask me any questions. They'd just let us right through. I'm kidding. I'm not bringing back cigars.
Okay. I will ask Milagros if she has anything and then suggest that she ask Mary Ellis, and then we can work on it once we find out, we can work on the side.
Okay, great.
Anybody else heard any current news on conditions, maybe with your partner church or just in Cuba? what I hear is there's still a food shortage. They still have electrical blackouts. Sometimes they can't get gas for the cooking. It's just nothing has improved from what I've heard. Anybody want to comment on that?
Ken, I know you all have sent some food down to Remedios from Supermarket 23, and I would love
Yes.
to do that. We have someone from our church who wants to do that for Iwara and or Manassas, but they don't deliver there. And I can't, I've gone through Adalberto, who is the supervising pastor of those two churches, and asked, can we send to another church and get it to them? Because it just seems that we have the money, we have the desire. They could send it to Remedios, they could send it to Adalberto lives in Remedios, they can send it to Santo Spiritus. All those churches can receive, but they don't deliver to Iwara Manassas. And then we'd have to provide some money to cover the cost of the transportation of getting it there. But it's it's one of those time critical things. You can't have frozen chicken delivered and sit around for a week waiting to be delivered. Although you could with other things.
Right. You'd have to take a chance and trying to time it when it would arrive in Remedios, and then when Adalberto was going to Aurora.
Right, he only goes once a month, and I think he's gone, just recently gone. So, but still, we could. I'd love to arrange that, but I have to talk to him again. Yeah, I think those are the only churches that you can't easily deliver to. I haven't checked with they are the small in Crucijada, so close to what Sagua or Calabazar, that could be managed. I think all the other churches are large enough that they can be delivered to.
Yeah. Your two churches are probably the two smallest in the.
They are.
Yeah, that's the ones that we travel to.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was surprised at how well that worked. Jesus notified me that he had gotten it, and it was 4 days after I had placed the order. So that was we're going to do it again next month.
Yeah. I said, we have some folks, someone called me last night and said, I have $500. I want to get it to Cuba. I want to help with the Cuba. What can we do? So for these two churches. Okay, thank you.
Kathy and Mary, I was just wondering, I guess, name of the church escapes me. I don't know why, but they've been without a pastor now for what, a few months?
Yeah,
Well,
Ron was just, Allison was just in here. He was asking about the meeting. He hadn't heard any updates, so he wasn't in on the call, and he's the one that's got the most recent information. He's been in contact, I think, with the pastor that was there. Roxy is his wife's name.
Roxy.
Yeah, wherever they are now. And I wish he were on this call because he's got more information than I do.
Ron was on the distribution list for this.
Yes, but we were both talking about the fact we hadn't heard anything back since the 1st of August, and we weren't totally sure if it was still on.
Oh,
And I'm going to take a chance, but he had already left the office, so
sorry.
that's okay. So I don't know what I should know.
Okay, thanks.
Fran, you, I think you at one time said that you had tried to contact Riley or the church there, and you could not get any response. Have you had any correspondence from the church?
No, no, I haven't really had any correspondence from the church at all.
Okay. Well,
Originally, I had gotten kind of a just hello, how are you kind of thing, and replied back, and then there was nothing else that I received from him.
when he's here, then we'll have to bridge that with him.
And there were a lot of speculations as to why, in terms of the internet, in terms of his time, etc., as to why he couldn't respond or didn't reply. And I haven't heard anything else. Have you all heard from him in terms of him coming and all of that?
I've not heard from him now for a while. And a lady in where is she from? Oregon, somewhere. Randy is coordinating his overall trip.
Maryland,
Maryland, I got that email, huh?
right.
Okay.
I spoke with Susan Smith, who's the co-moderator of the Cuba Partners Network last week. And it was that day that one of the pastors was having a interview at the embassy, and they are working as hard as they can, behind the scenes to try to arrange interviews at the U.S. Embassy in Havana for Rayleigh and the representative from Havana Presbytery that wants to go. I don't know what's my problem with names right now. Alison, who's he's the moderator of the synod. He would be representing. Representing. Man, he would be representing. What's the presbytery? Matanzas. Woo! Matanzas. I just turned 70. That I hope that doesn't have anything to do with it.
Waited that long to have words, to have names. You're doing great.
Yeah, but he's representing Matanzas Presbytery. So what happened on his interview, I don't know. And whether the other two have been able to get interviews, there's a few others that they're trying to get interviews for as well. I know Dora, who's the General Secretary for the Synod, she's coming, but she has, I think, a Spanish passport. And Carlos, who is the rector of the seminary, he's coming because once again, I think he has a U.S. passport. So I do not know yet. She did not know whether or not Rayleigh was going to be able to come, but they are working hard to try to make it happen.
Any idea when we'll know?
No, I mean, it's really, no, they're working at it feverishly to try to get it done, is basically what she said. And it's difficult because you can imagine there is a staggering number of people that want to try to get visas, and there's only so much staff there. And so and I haven't heard anything since I spoke with her. It was actually Tuesday of last week. It was a week ago today.
I know of two other churches that are either arranging or trying to arrange this. It's El Redentor, I think, is arranging a trip to Kamawani in October. They have already cleared that with Mary Ellis. I don't have the exact date, but I may have them in an email somewhere. So that's good. She had, I think, Olga, you may know, there were about 8 people going.
Well, right now, we decided that we will be traveling next year with the group. Yes, instead, because there were a few people that couldn't make it. And so they were only 3, and one of them was me. And so I failed, so I won't be able to be like traveling more comfortable. So we will be planning for next year.
March trip.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
great. Okay, First Bureau is made contact with Cabaguan, and they are asking about coming down in sometime, I think they said November, December. And they're corresponding with Adriana and someone else. I forget who, because Adriana is the moderator right now. So
Is there something we should be doing? Anything we can do to
No.
prepare?
Oh, prepare?
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I think we just have to have a plan in place and hope that he's here. I suspect that we might not hear until the last minute. That seems to be the way those things work.
Yeah.
They had 4 days. They had 4 days that he would be in Central Florida. Would he be with us at Winter Park for those 4 days? There's a couple of other Spanish churches in the area? Would he be there some of those days too?
That's what we
They,
have.
yeah, I would like to think so, but I've not heard back from the other two churches.
Oh.
So, you know, I've heard that, well, one of them, El Wayne Vecino has said that the pastor emailed me a month ago that he was trying to find a volunteer to help host, but I've not heard back from him on that yet. I've not heard anything from El Redentor. But I would certainly hope, I mean, since Riley does not speak English, I would hope that some of the Spanish speaking people would, you know, be able to help out during that time.
Randy,
Yes.
were you gonna say something?
Yeah, Ken, did you include Olga on that email?
I don't remember now.
Okay.
I would have thought that I would have my original email.
Okay, why don't you, I would send a follow-up to all of them, and if you didn't include Olga on the one to El Redentor, make sure you do, and obviously, hopefully they'll also be at the Presbytery meeting in September, and you can talk about it then. I'm wondering what's that noise in the
I'm
background?
sorry, I have been on mute. I'm over at the beach and the unit next to me is having something redone and I've been trying to stay on mute. And so, but I have something, just one other thing. Now it slipped my mind that I was going to say. I think I have someone to sponsor them and to host him when he's here. I spoke with someone that she was the clerk of the session for her presbytery at someplace, I don't know, she lives in a retirement home right near us, she and her husband both, and they have a 3-bedroom unit that they said that they could help with that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I think Rayleigh speaks English. I was down there and he was talking to us.
Really?
I have to stop and think, oh, by the way, Mary Van Hook passed away. Well, her husband passed away now too. We just got a notice. So, and he had gone to a place. But I will double check that. But I just can't believe, because we didn't have a translator. We just had one person with us that happened to speak Spanish. And we were there for, 5 days when we were down there. But you all know he doesn't speak English, huh?
He doesn't speak English around us. We've been down there. Maybe he can do it when he has to and prefers not to.
Yeah, reason I asked you, Pat, I thought I heard that he spoke a little English.
Yeah, I think he because he got us around and toured us around and everything, and we
Really? I've never heard him speak English.
No.
It's interesting.
Well, my brain's older than your brain, Randy, and I don't remember when we were there, but
well, again, if you were there and there was no translator, the situation demands that he will. And if he knows there are people speaking Spanish, he would use Spanish.
Right.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That he
But
speaks a little English.
The couple that said that they, this would work for them, probably that's not 100% yet. It didn't. I said I think he speaks English, and they said, oh, that's fine, we can manage with it if he doesn't. So that was, they don't speak Spanish.
Google translates one.
Yeah, that's right.
We had that in Japan. It was funny. People we had just a few words of Japanese. We try and they'd immediately pull out their phone and bring up Google Translate and you say into it. And then
Ken, Pat, let me tell you something. I am willing to help out with the translation as well as Nerida. Nerida asked me to tell you that she failed. She's at the hospital, and that's why you cannot see her today. We will be more than willing not to host him because my condition, I cannot host him, but I can go pick him up take him to any place, translate, probably not every day, but we could share the translation here and there whenever we can.
Yeah, could you just like host for a day, like pick him up, take him to your church, maybe let him meet some church members, maybe lunch and
Mhm.
something like that?
Right.
Yeah, yeah, that's part of what we would like to do while he's here.
That'd be great.
What area, what part of the state are you in? Are you in the Orlando area?
Me?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm in the Orlando area, but I go to Kissimmee to El Buen Vecino Church.
Oh, okay, good. That would work.
That is one of those two churches we were talking about, Fran. Fran, did you get my email about 2 or 3 days ago? Hey, I think you're muted, Fran. I lost you.
Fran, you're still mute.
I've been gone most of the summer. I actually was on a mission trip to Peru.
Ooh.
And yes, that was great. We went down to a home for abandoned boys in northern Peru. And it was so meaningful. I had my 17-year-old granddaughter went with me. It was really special. Yeah. So, and then I got caught something while I was down there, and then I had altitude sickness. So it was cool because we went on to Cusco after the group left. But it was a wonderful trip. But I just kind of getting back into what I need to do and feeling a little better, tell you the truth. I'm going to turn this.
Okay, Fran was asking me, what she could do as the host, what kind of things to do. And so if anybody has suggestions, just to give us some ideas.
Invite him to participate in anything that's going on at the church. If you have a game night, if you have a Bible study, a book group, a book study group, a host of potluck, especially if Deli or Nerida could come up and translate, let him talk about the church there. Things like that. Certainly. Anything. They want to, when we've had visitors, they just kind of want to plug into the daily life like we do. I've taken visitors when we've hosted a couple of people from Cuba. I've taken them to the local zoo, which is only a few miles down the road. It's a nice, just, you get outside and you see something they enjoy, just casual conversation and building relationships. So things like that. But especially anything at the church, Ed Alberto came to a book study, and the ladies, of course, his English is good, and he's kind of a charmer anyway. But the ladies really enjoyed it, and he seemed to enjoy that.
That all sounds good. We're just kind of getting back in swing of things with the activities that we're doing in our church, even on a weekly basis. We're going to have some Wednesday nights together, kind of those activities, and we'll see what's going on. Definitely at worship to come to that and to visit our Sunday school class. I just have to wait and see what's going on at the church.
Yeah. And even a meal is great. A meal with a short presentation program is great because it offers fellowship, and it's a casual atmosphere. Everybody, and you get a lot of people from the church coming too with meals, usually more than you would. But we have someone from out of town. We have a mission speaker coming. Oh, okay. We have a mission speaker coming, and there's food. Oh,
and a reception after our worship service is really popular too. That's what we definitely will do that. And then even to eat with some small people and go out to a meal. When we were there, we took them out to a restaurant, and they were like, never do that. They said, this is something that happens. It was real cute. They ordered pizza.
And I know the Sunday school class, what's it called? Mission in Action, or RNA, they would love to have him
Oh,
speak.
yes,
They're looking, for-
definitely come. See your mama.
yeah, they've mentioned, brother and mother mentioned it a number of times.
Yes, yes, I've been in touch. I saw her Sunday. She's looking good.
So while we were talking, I texted Susan Smith to see if there was anything new on the visa for Rayleigh, and her response was not yet. We have sent all official letters, and that's the other thing is there are letters that have to go to the embassy, because I remember doing this, way back when for Lyudmila and for others, in which you lay out the itinerary, what the benefit's going to be by them, being here. It's you write a fairly extensive letter about that that supports the application. And so she said they've sent all official letters. Allison got his, and he reached out to our contact at the embassy. She says it's hopeful, but tricky planning until we know. So there's your update.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
I think we have to be prepared, so,
All right, but we'll get on it.
Well, they're really hopeful because, as Ken said, there are other churches, that he's planning to go to, one out in Oregon, one in South Carolina, and obviously they want him to attend the network gathering in October.
Are those dates like when he will be in Orlando pretty firm? Do you know? I got that. Maybe did you all get that email from Maryland? I guess not.
Yes.
I've not seen one from Maryland in the past couple of weeks, or maybe past 3 weeks.
Those are the anticipated dates. It is anticipated. And again, you don't know. Sometimes they shorten the time of the visa. They don't give them as much time as they would like. Because remember, he's planning on having time in Miami at the end of the trip with family and friends. And as we know, that is extremely important to them. And
Right.
Sometimes they make the trip, a little bit shorter. And so this is the estimate because his plan was to come to Central Florida Presbytery first before going to the gathering. And I guess there was a couple of things he was going to do because they were also hoping to do some advocacy work in Washington prior to going to Baltimore, which is why this runs to the 19th and the gathering isn't until, was it like the 24th or 25th or something like that? So,
Randy, the last I heard from Maryland was that she was asking if we could shorten his trip here by 1 day in the beginning. He was going to Miami first and then coming here. But she's not. And I emailed her about 2 or 3 days ago, just asking if she had any details worked out yet, and she hasn't responded. But so I'm sure those dates that we have to be here are very, very close, but it might be 1 day off.
Right. I think one of the key things we wanted to make sure was, if at all possible, for him to be here for a Sunday.
Yes, yeah. And Fran, you do want to have him in your church on Sunday. Is that correct?
It would be best, because if he wanted to get a real feel for our congregation, we would like to have him.
Yeah.
So that would be October 15th.
Okay.
Kind of a side note off the subject, just a little bit, but talking about visas, made me think. Have y'all heard about the Cuban? I think it was Little League team that came to some event first time that they had participated.
The Little League World Series. They're in the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
And one of the coaches has disappeared, and they suspect that he has defected.
Oh.
No, I hadn't heard that.
So something that was in the news a couple of days ago. I've not heard anything since then, but it's things like that can cause problems with the visas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rayleigh has children now, right? I know he has one. Does he have two? Do you know? Am I on mute?
No, you're not on mute.
Okay, what I'm thinking is he's going back in terms of him defecting or anything like that.
Okay, so just, Fran, as you get ideas as to what to do and when to do, let me know. And, so I can coordinate. And of course, you can, talk to those people too. You don't need to go everything through me, but just so I know what's going on.
Okay, thank
I have a friend in my neighborhood that's active with the Hispanic ministry at the First Baptist Church of Orlando, and I thought that I could ask him if he would like to join us one day for a lunch or for dinner or something like that. Simply because he is fluent. I mean, he's Dominican, so, and he is fluent in Spanish. So it's just an idea there.
Ken, since you don't have it on the agenda, but since we're talking about Rayleigh's trip and that he's going to be going to the Cuba Partners Network gathering, I'd just like to remind everyone, I think Ken and I are registered for the gathering, which is in Maryland this year. We have not had an in-person gathering. Well, we had the one in Cuba last year, but then the last one was 2019, June of 2019 in New Orleans, and because of COVID, we haven't had one since. And it would be wonderful to have more representatives. I know you received something from Pat. She forwarded to you the email about the gathering, but consider going. It is incredibly worthwhile. I mean, there's just a lot of, one, you get a chance to talk with others from around the U.S. that have, relationships with El Centro Presbytery, that may have relationships with your individual church. There's excellent speakers. There will be hopefully, at least five Cubans there. If Rayleigh and the others are able to get their visas, so there'll be Cuban leadership there. Also, as you saw, Hunter Farrell, who used to be the director of World Mission and has written a book about a year ago about mission. He's going to be a keynote speaker. He is an outstanding speaker and very personable, and it's just it truly is a great event. And think about look at that carefully, and if you have any questions, please give me a call, email me, whatever. I'll be happy to discuss it with you. As I said, Ken, I know you've already you and I have made your reservations. I'm going to be up in Georgia at the time, so I'll be flying out of Atlanta to go there. But Ken, I know you're probably flying from Orlando to Baltimore.
That's correct.
There's going to be shuttle buses, taking people, to it. So, you won't need to rent a car or anything, such as that. There are rooms right there. It's at Sandy Cove, which I'm told is a very nice retreat center. So give it some serious thought and prayer. Thank you, Ken.
Can I ask real quick? Are you planning to trips to Cuba after the first of the year?
Yes, it's on our agenda today.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
In fact, that's the next item that we have. We've corresponded with Cuba, and they have approved the dates of March 12 through 19 of 2024. So I would think we need to approve that officially here today. Is that date okay with everybody? March 12 through 19, 2024.
Yep.
And this time we'll be flying in the morning, not late in the afternoon. So it makes it better to arrive in Cuba in the morning, but it also means there may be an overnight for people who don't want to drive down to Miami. There may be an overnight because the connection is very, very tight to fly from Orlando to Miami and then Miami to Cuba in the morning. So, but we'll get more details to you.
Yeah, of course, as we know, those flight schedules can change because we're talking about March right now, but as of right now, just like when Pat and I are going down, we're both flying to Miami Sunday. Rather than, I mean, because it's only like an hour and 15 minutes right now between when we would land and the plane leaves for Cuba, and we just, you know, if you've got a 30-minute delay, you may not make the flight, and we just didn't want to take the chance.
Yeah,
Not to
that's
mention,
smart.
remember, those of you who went down in the, in last spring, remember how long a hike it was between gates?
Yeah.
Some of us.
Yes.
Fast.
So,
And you're going to be in a wheelchair.
Even without a wheelchair, I can't move that fast.
Pat, did you just make reservations on your own, or did you go through Jason's agency?
Since there were just the two of us, we just did it on our own.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need, we should, the problem, we can get some ballpark figures from Jason.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that we would really save us anything, because when we went through American, we still had to pay the full luggage. We didn't get any break on the luggage.
Yeah.
With JetBlue, they gave us a break on luggage as a group.
Okay. Are you flying JetBlue?
No, JetBlue only goes to Havana. We're flying American.
American again, but
Yeah.
you are flying into Santa Clara.
Yes.
Yes, but American is still the only airline that flies into Santa Clara, or the only U.S. airline. There may be, you know, a couple of the others that, you know, I remember we had looked at, but Copa and all this, but it's the only U.S. airline that flies in, you know, flies out of the U.S. Yeah.
Okay. Do we need a vote on approving that date for the trip?
It wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
12
That's-
to 19.
Yeah, March 12th to 19, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve the trip for that date? Anybody? Second? All in
Second.
favor? All in favor, say aye,
Aye.
or raise your
Aye.
thumb. Or
Aye.
aye. All right, then we can begin our official promotion of that trip then for March 12th through 19.
May I say something?
Sure.
We need to have in mind that if it is spring break, we might have a lot of people at the airport.
Is that spring break?
I don't
Well,
know. It's my,
Oh, okay. Okay.
Any time in February or March could end up being spring break.
Yeah.
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 And the fares are going to be a little bit higher,
yeah.
both here and there. It's still high season down there.
Mhm.
So it's
All
probably
right.
going to be, but we'll get some estimates and work up something.
Okay.
We'll want
Let's talk
rough
about.
estimate to present at the open space, won't we?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's on here. Let's talk about fundraising. For the transportation and the lay leadership training. Anybody got any ideas other than what we've done before? And that's announced it, talk about it at the Presbyterian meeting, and have Cheryl put something in the email blast that she sends out. Do we need to set a goal as to how much we want to try to raise for transportation and how much for the leadership training?
I think a goal is very helpful. It tells people because you can refer back to it. It gives them a target, and then you can refer back to it and say, hey, we're halfway there. Stimulate. And we've had good success with people coming in with, especially with towards the end of the year when there's still money in the mission budgets. And we advertise again that we need some there. We've had some good support.
What was our goal last time, Pat and Ken? Do you remember?
No.
Sure, we set a goal last time because it was such a crazy year last year.
Yeah. I
But
think we just looked at what we had available and we decided how we would split it.
yeah, but if we said 5 and 5, and just realized that they could split it any which way, that would be, I would say at least start. Or do you want to make it something else? I would say we ought to shoot at least for $10,000.
I was going to say, as much as prices have gone up in Cuba, that I think if we did like, 6 and 6 or 7 and 5, 7 for transportation, 5 for lay leadership training, recognizing that the last few years when we've sent money, we have told them they can spend the money as they deem appropriate because their needs are just so great. I mean, it's a desperate situation that we did not want to limit how they could use those funds. But I don't know. I probably would hold leadership training to 5 and maybe go 7,000 or something like that on transportation.
I think that's fine.
I'll agree.
That's what their need is.
Actually, their needs double, triple, and quadruple that we know.
Well, yeah.
But you're right. I think the
Yes.
need is really on that transportation side also because of the vehicles that they have, for tires and also for the churches that don't have a vehicle.
Paying for
By the way, did you all find out when you all were there, the vehicle that we bought for Marlin all those years ago? What happened to it? There's always the concern that because they couldn't title things in the church's names, that they got titled in the pastor's name. And there have been instances in the past in which certain things have been sold by the individual and, that have left the country and they've used the money themselves. I wonder what happened to Marlin's. I just thought of this recently.
Why
I
didn't
didn't,
Adriana, because she's the moderator there and she could make inquiries.
Okay, I'll ask Adriana.
That would be
I didn't think about it when we were down there, but I remember they did said that they got all the financial records and everything was clear and in order.
Okay.
From all, but didn't ask about the specifically about the car.
Okay.
What like a 1984 Russian Lada?
Yeah, it was either an 82 or an 84 Russian Lada.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask her.
Yeah, and if they're holding it for a pastor at Cabaguan, or if nothing else, they could have the presbytery take charge of it and use it to loan out to whoever needs it from the whichever pastor needs.
Right. Yep. And
Okay,
doesn't Asmani, is that how you pronounce his name?
Osmani.
Asmani, he lives in Cabaguan, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So that means he could be involved in maintenance of it as well.
Yes.
So hopefully I'll ask.
Okay, so we have a fundraising goal of $12,000.
Of 7 divided 7.
Let's see. We've pretty well talked about Riley's.
Well, could I hop?
Beg your pardon?
I was going to hop in and tell them about our Cuba lunch that we're having on September 17th. We could maybe ask for donations at that and hope all of you all could come maybe.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Ken, if the flyers can be put together, in fact, we know you will be putting them together. You did such a great job on the other ones, but because we're going to want to have them for the presbytery meeting anyway. So that would be wonderful.
Okay.
That'd be great. We'll see about that, Ken.
Are you going to send us something about this lunch?
I beg your pardon?
Yes, the Cuba lunch you just mentioned?
Yes.
What is it?
It is September 17th.
right?
We're gonna have Cuban food like what we ate there. And we're gonna have a slideshow. We'd love it if y'all could come.
What time is it?
It is just after 11 o'clock. Our service is at 10. So it's gonna be following the service, probably about 11:15 or so.
And where are you, Martha?
We're at Cuba Presbyterian in Longwood.
Oh, okay.
Ken and I go to the same church.
Okay.
And Kim Freeman, who was on the last trip, is also involved in this luncheon.
Right.
She's Martha and Kim are on the church's missions committee.
I'm sorry.
And also, we are collecting jewelry. Do you remember the two girls, Cece and now I can't think of the other one's name.
It was
Deb.
Kamawani, it was Mariellis.
Right. They were doing jewelry. Oh, my phone is about to die here. And I've been collecting them, and I got to talk to you, Pat, because I may be coming over soon, maybe next week, bringing
Okay.
that to you.
Okay,
So I will give you a call. I have to go. I've got to go somewhere, and my phone is dying anyway. So I'm glad you're recording this. So
Okay.
I've got to go, but have a great meeting, and it was nice talking to all of you.
Talking to
And I'll
you.
see you
Okay,
later.
Martha. Glad
Bye,
you could
Martha.
join us.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
Martha.
Okay, I think we've discussed Riley's visit, about all we can do. There's nothing else there. The last item here is to talk about the Presbyterian meeting. We're going to do a breakout session. That is a little workshop during the day on Cuba. And we'll also have a brief report during the Mission Development Committee's time on the docket. But we need to maybe discuss what we're going to cover during the breakout session. Randy, did you have any ideas? Have you started that? You asked us to do it. Did you have some ideas?
you put a nice blurb together for Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, as to, what we're going to do. And it's just to, we'll have a captive audience. We'll give them, just a little update on what's going on in Cuba. But more than anything else, I think we want to talk about the trip and
Yes.
anyone that's interested in going on the trip. But the other point that we made, and by the way, Pat, this idea came originally from you, which was how people can be involved in the Cuba Partnership, even if they can't go on the trip, how their churches, can be part of the relationship. And so that's what I think we want to cover. I think, one of the things we talk about is, just like all of our churches, when we've gone on the trips, we get to the congregation and we ask for, ask people to bring in, over-the-counter medications and things such as that. That really helps people feel a part of it. But, some of the churches, may not, may want to do that, that people can't travel. And so it's just talking about that more than anything else, that and then the upcoming trip. And clearly we're going to be encouraging people to financially support their needs down there. So are there other things you all think we need to cover? I mean, these are not long sessions. I think we're going to have a total of about 30 to 40 minutes is all these breakout sessions are, because they're doing it in lieu of a keynote speaker.
Okay. No, so we'll just kind of wing it and talk about as you said, about the trip and about finances, and trip can be meaningful and
the three of us, we can talk about it again, the three of us, since we're going to be leading it. prior to, that's still, what, 3 weeks away from today. So, yeah, it's 3 weeks from today.
All right. When are we gonna meet next?
Well, 3 months would be November. We need to start, we need to get a timetable. We need to do our backup planning and figure out when the deadline's going to be for applications. So we can get the visas in and things like that. So we can announce that at the Presbytery meeting. We can do that offline. But
On the last trip, Mariella's told me 65 days to get the visa in. So, you know, I would kind of look for maybe 75 days to give us a little leeway, which is 2.5 months. So March, that will be around January the 1st.
Yeah, but as far as having applications in, just giving us time and all that, I mean, and then because you don't want to be trying to get people thinking about it right around Christmas time. I mean, I would think if we said like by December 10th or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we have some leeway because if we get sometimes we get some last minute interest.
right.
After and that would be good. Need applications. What did you say, December 10th?
I'm just estimating, if we say the 15th or the 20th, it is so close to Christmas that I think people just aren't going to have a chance to focus on it, you know, around the holidays. And so I'm just throwing out December 10th, or maybe whatever that
Friday is.
maybe give them till the Monday. Give them until December 11th. That's the Monday. So you get 1 day into the following week.
Okay, I think that's good. And I said, like, that does allow us leeway if we have some late folks coming in, applications. Because again, we have a Presbytery meeting in December.
That's right. And so that will give us one
We
last
also
pitch
get
to
some,
make,
yeah.
because it will just be the previous Tuesday. Let me ask you something. Because of that, should we give them then till the end of the week, till Friday, then the 15th?
Sure.
I would agree to that.
Okay.
I would agree to that, yeah.
Because that gives them a week and a half after the Presbytery meeting. Actually, the Presbytery meeting, though, I think is virtual.
It is virtual.
Why is it virtual? Do you know?
Because council committed to do one virtual meeting a year after the experience with COVID. There were people who really like virtual meetings for Presbytery, sometimes get some better attendance.
It's true.
I mean, you consider the distance we have from,
Yeah.
Kobe to the villages,
True.
and some of us are having to drive 2 hours to get to Graceway next week.
I understand. I must admit, I'm very happy. It's a 3-minute drive for me.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's good. December 15th, and then we can, I will, I'll work on the application form. And the announcement letter, because we have those from previous trips, and won't be too hard to get something mocked up by, and then and do a quick budget so we can get at least an estimate.
Okay.
Sounds great.
And Pat, you'll have that by the Presbytery meeting.
I will get it to you guys as soon as I can.
Okay.
Like to get done it later this week.
And Ken, you're going to do the revisions on the transportation and lay leadership forms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we had some good information coming up from them not too long ago about some good details, didn't we?
Yeah.
What was that, Pat? I don't.
We had some it was a report for, oh, it was at the, it was a long time ago. It was March. It was March. Remember that presentation in March? They gave us some good details about what they did with transportation and leadership money.
Right.
And we, I forget, I think whether Adriana put that together, but it was more detail than we usually get from them.
Yeah. Even though it's dated, I think it'd be great to use it, Ken.
Probably still accurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's certainly things that happen. We don't have to say it happened in 2022.
All right. I'll look back through my emails and see if I can find it.
If you can't, let me know. It would be in the report that the PowerPoint that Adriana provided that went with it that we. So let's say if you can't find it, let me know.
Okay. All right.
So we didn't finalize when we're going to meet next.
Well, we don't really want to meet in December, probably. So anything, what would be on our agenda for the next meeting? It's probably largely about the trip. Well, no, it would be a debrief on Rayleigh's visit and on the gathering and probably something on the trip. So November probably would work.
Yeah. I mean, you want to shoot for like the 14th?
One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's the week before Thanksgiving. Surely you don't want to do it the 21st.
No, well, Thanksgiving, yeah, the 21st is the week of Thanksgiving, so that's why I was suggesting 14th.
Yeah, that's why I said that's I agree. The 14th would be good.
Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to do it at 11 again, or do you want to do it at 12?
I like 11.
Okay.
Works for me. Now that is November. Okay,
That's council.
that's council, but I can use Christina's Merritt Island number probably for the Zoom.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks,
All right.
Ken. Good meeting.
In the minutes. Okay. Is there anything else?
Mary, Kathy, do you think there's going to be a group going to
Guasco?
Guasco? Thank you. To Guasco in March?
I think so.
Good. I'm
What do
actually
you think, Mary?
I don't know. I hope so. That's not sure at this point.
I'm hoping to lead a group from Graceway to Santa Spiritus.
Okay. Well, I'm hopeful for at least 2 or 3 other than myself from Macava. So I've already had one say she really wants to go. So
There is
Kim,
interest from St. Cloud. When I went out and talked to St. Cloud, they invited me to come to their at Lent, and they provided just that day about over $100 for medicines and stuff, and they came and brought some medicines and things. Maybe I should talk to someone at St. Cloud and see if they'd like to just come along, even encourage them to come along.
Great.
So they don't want to, even though they may not want to partner with the church, just to come along and be involved.
Mm-hmm. Great idea.
Is that the church that the pastor was very sick?
Yes, that was Hugh Lackius. They have Tim Rogers Martin is there as an interim right now, and they just formed a PNC, and their PNC is up and running.
Mhm.
Okay, is there anything else? If not, would somebody volunteer to close the meeting with prayer? If not, I will. Ready? Okay, let us pray. Father, we thank you for this discussion. We thank you for the time. We just pray that our plans and hopes and will be beneficial, they're pleasing in your sight, and that they will be beneficial to the people in Cuba. Just thank you for the insight. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I'll get these, the recording.
Bye.
It takes a while to get it to convert to the computer, and I will try to send it out later on this week, or make it available later on this week, because I know Kim wanted it, and I don't know who else would want it.
Kim Freeman wants it.
I know
Kim
does.
Freeman started a new job yesterday and said she just couldn't ask for time off so soon to attend the meeting. So she'd be looking for it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Would,
Bye.
shall I ask
Okay.
Sharon to post it on the website? Is that acceptable? Any
Yes.
reason why we shouldn't?
No. Definitely good idea.
Fine to me.
Okey-doke.
Okay.
What
Thanks.
website are you talking about?
Y'all have a nice trip
Post
home.
the recording, we recorded this meeting.
Question.
Yes.
What website were you talking about just now?
Oh, the Presbytery website, there's a Cuba page, Cuba Partnership page on the Presbytery website. If you go to the Presbytery website, that's cfpresbytery.org. And you go under equip, I think. There is Cuba. Just look at the very drop downs. There's something on Cuba.
Okay,
Click on that.
okay,
There's
great, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
all right, bye all.
Bye.
Bye-bye, have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hmm.